Hey guys, it's Jackson, and I'm going to turn this beach into a scene for my game. Now how am I going to do that? I'm using Godot for my game, Emerald Isle. Since I don't want to touch grass again, I will be using lots of reference images. The only problem is, I can't draw. I'm currently doing my best to learn the ways of the pixel, but in the meantime you and I will both have to deal with my current abilities as I develop the mechanics of my game, Emerald Isle. This beach will be the player's home area. There are multiple things that I will need this area to accomplish. There needs to be a house for the player, basic resources to gather, and space to build. Not only do I have these gameplay elements to consider, but I also have many features of the beach to take into account. Tides, dunes, critters, all things that I want my beach to have. After way too many failed tile sets, I ended up with this one. It's not amazing, but the creation of this led me to the conclusion that I need to become a better artist. I will be creating a video about my journey with pixel art after this one, but just know that I'm working on it behind the scenes. If you look closely, the player moves slower when walking up the stairs. Without this, the world feels flat. Before slowing the player on the stairs, the game looked like one of those road maps for kids. This is because the distance traveled when going upstairs is longer than the distance traveled across the screen. If you use the Pythagorean theorem, you can find the exact extra distance traveled. Starting with the basic resources, I created some driftwood. There are small pieces that you can pick up, and there are larger pieces that can be broken down using an axe. Based on the direction the player is facing, the axe rotates around the player until it comes into contact with the hitbox of the driftwood, causing the larger pieces of wood to break into the driftwood item. I thought I was being smart by having the player swing the axe horizontally like a real lumberjack cutting down a tree, but realized that it would make way more sense for the player to swing from above their head like in Stardew Valley when it comes to driftwood on the beach like this. I'll have to fix that later. I then added little stones that the player can pick up off the ground. This is a ghost crab burrow. It's time to make it in my game. Ghost crabs. Try not to get spooked by this cute little creature that roams the beach at night. They walk around in random intervals around their burrow. If the player gets too close, the crab scurries back into his home to avoid human interaction. Make sure to avoid their burrows, as stepping on them will cause it to collapse and kill anything inside. You monster! The ghost crabs will be most active during the nights, especially in the summer. We have a nice little piece of land to build a house. It is built! I will want the player to be able to upgrade the building as they progress through the game, but for now we just need a place for the player to enter. When the player presses the interact key while standing at the door, they are placed in the house. Forever. There's currently no way to leave. I decided that permanently trapping the player is probably a bad idea, so now the player can leave by just walking to the door and hitting E. While making the beach scene, I realized that I was too focused on the realism of the world and had forgotten what is important when it comes to making a video game. In real life, space doesn't always have a purpose, but in a good game, everything has value. A large room with a few things feels empty, but a small room with those same things feel full. I will need to reduce the scale of the beach and give each area a purpose. Starting with the ocean, we have a variety of fish for the player to catch. Next to the water, we have seashells, clams, and other edge-of-the-water creatures like sand fiddlers. Traveling up the beach a little bit, we will then have driftwood, debris, and other trash items that the player will need to clean up. As we get closer to the dunes, the player will come across more ghost crabs. Finally, once we reach the stairs to get off the beach, there will be weeds, plants, the house, and maybe even a garden. When the player wakes up after sleeping the night away, there will be new driftwood scattered on the beach, new ghost crab burrows, new shells, more rocks. Basically, every resource will be renewable given enough time. So what about the ocean? Right now there are no tides, and to be perfectly honest, the ocean looks awful. My plan is to learn how to use shaders to create a realistic, beautiful ocean, but that will be a journey for another video. I don't like sand. Don't forget to like and subscribe to see my next devlog where I create a coconut crab boss fight.